A-E-1 short.
What's up? This is Bendito, DJ, producer, artist. I had the opportunity of going to study in France, and that's when I found the passion. One memorable show or story of DJing that I don't share much is one of my friends. He was dating Madonna's daughter at the time, and she had a birthday party, and he invited me to come and play, and I got to play Madonna's house. I had a great time, great set. Everybody was happy, and it was a great birthday, and happy to be there, honestly. And we're here live for ATSometime somewhere for AT1 Radio. Growing up in New York, born and raised, Dominican background, so the household was full of music, from salsa, bachata, merengue, all the sorts with my mother, the classics with my dad because he was really into American culture, all 60s doo-wop, rock, soul, disco. My eldest sister, I'm the youngest of four, she was really into electronic music at the time. So she first introduced electronic music with Daft Punk, Kylie Minogue, Jamiroquai, really. And then my brother, who before that actually introduced me into hip hop and all that, but I was into it, but I didn't really get into it until I got into electronic music. And he was into a lot of the classics, Nas, Big L, Biggie. He was a rapper, breakdancer, producer, and then my youngest elder sister, who was really into reggaeton, dancehall, Daddy Yankee, Don Omar. So that really got me more into the dance music vibe of any kind of scene. Being a rebellious teenager when I was 15, I moved to Florida with my eldest sister, Ocala, Slow Cala. And they had guitar classes in high school. So I took it, picked it up, and bought my first classical guitar there. When I moved back to New York, they had guitar. I found the high schools that had guitar classes, and it was classical. And made some friends there. And my first band was actually like a indie rock bachata band. And it was like two Dominicans and a Puerto Rican, and we were just jamming out. I got into skateboarding, so I kind of dropped the guitar because I was focusing on that. Loved it so much. Then into snowboarding, and then went and did a Euro trip in 2017 with my best friend. And towards the end of the trip, came back to London, and ran into some friends skating down the street, and we went back to their house, and he had a little controller, and I didn't know that DJing was so accessible and affordable. I thought it was just turntables and records, and it really brought me back into the music scene, and I wanted to try it. So when I came back to New York, I hit up my homie Oscar, who was like a modular techno DJ, and he had CDJs, played with him, and it was a great time, and he said I was a natural, and I reflected and wanted to do it again, see if it was really something I should try. And the second time I played, he said I was better than the first, and immediately went to go buy a controller. My dad's the smartest guy I ever met. I mean, everybody can say that about their dads. But my dad was he's a contractor. He has to learn history to build houses. And he could tell you any point of history, anything, any kind of fact. And I have sort of that kind of obsession with things, of learning in general. Like skateboarding, I've watched so many videos how to learn every single trick. Still not good at it. And with DJing, till this day, I watch YouTube every night and just try to learn something new. So that kind of brought me up to speed into DJing and being a better overall person, artist. And work ethic, I guess. It's just fun also growing. Yeah, exactly. You just made me think about it. Growing up in New York, you have the hustler mentality. So want to just keep going and going. And I was just I just want to learn as much as I can. And I guess that kind of pushed me a lot forward compared to everybody else, and just having the resources of growing up in New York and meeting all these different people and just putting me on left and right kind of pushed me, excelled the whole process, I guess. One memorable show or story of DJing that I don't share much is one of my friends. He was dating Madonna's daughter at the time, and she had a birthday party, and he invited me to come and play. And I got to play in Madonna's house, and she was upstairs, a couple of floors up, and it was nice. At that time, I was playing a lot of bars and stuff, and I really wanted to get into electronic music, but I was playing more open format. So I did like a hip hop set, kind of snuck some house in there, but wasn't really whatever. But it was fun. I had a great time, great set. Everybody was happy, and it was a great birthday, and happy to be there, honestly. When I go to shows, I go to, I always see the DJ play and what they're doing on the decks or in the booth. So I always try to see, through Instagram or through friends who are here, like this is a good DJ, or musically who I think is really talented. And I always try to pursue that person and just try to get into their bubble and try to pick at them and learn from them. So around the time that I started DJing, I was going to Black Flamingo. I think it opened like 2014. I can't remember when. 2016, I started going there, and around the time that I started DJing, I met the booker, who was also the general manager of the restaurant upstairs. He was doing booking, and both Toribio Cesar, shout out to him, BDA, and my homies who I skated with they were the servers or whatever. They worked there, and they told me to come, and they introduced me, and I met Toribio that day, and I will never forget. They were just like, oh, he wants to DJ, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, do you spin records? And I was like, no, not yet. And he was just like, let me know when you do. And that was my first interaction with him. And he remembered me. And as the years went on, I would always go to his shows and support him. And like, he kind of grew a relationship with me. And full circle, I'm playing at Black Flamingo monthly now, and hopefully soon residency, soon to be. Also, to say, my dad had bought his first apartment coming to America right across the street, which is above Waze. Waze is like a hub for all the DJs. It's a Asian restaurant that all the DJs go there to eat and converse and communicate or whatever, community. From lower tier to higher tier, Louis Vega and everybody go there because it's open till like 3 a.m. And then across the street, Black Flamingo's there, and what used to be a tire shop back in the 80s, my parents have a photo in front of it, and I am there DJing now. Again, being like obsessed with like learning new things. My dad will always cook in the house. He was really big on Emeril Lagasse, always watching all his classes, and we would just try to imitate whatever he's doing. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for school, but I enjoyed cooking, so I tried culinary or hospitality, and really enjoyed it. I hated it the first year because I didn't want to be yelled at in a workplace. But as the years progressed, at the time, a year after, I had the opportunity of going to study in France, and that's when I found the passion. Being in France, being immersed in a whole different culture, the beauty, the romance, the passion, and just really sucked me in. And because of that, I learned French. I have a French wife now, / Moroccan, and studied in France. Wanted to do it again, so I signed up again, and then I studied in Alsace, the countryside on the east end, touching the border of Germany, and learned that cuisine for several months. Opened restaurants in New York, like Catch, and Dirty French. Worked at Lama Inn, Baloo Sud with like fine dining. I worked in restaurants in London. I worked in restaurants. Now I'm at Nami Nori in the West Village, a Japanese restaurant. But I kind of transitioned to front of the house after Catch because I got into snowboarding and I wanted to have more time for snowboarding, and it's more money, and less stress. Yeah. Well, I was always shy. Just being the youngest of four. I don't know. I always had big thoughts in my head, but was never like, like I always knew the answer of things in class, but never raised my hand. And then after somebody said the answer, I was like, I knew that. But after I got into skateboarding, I just throwing myself downstairs and hurting myself. I was just like, why should I be shy? And so I kind of like opened up and was being a little bit more interactive to people and more sociable. And of course, after losing my virginity, I became even more social. And it kind of broke my shell into expanding into doing new things and learning new cultures. And that's how I really dug deep into cooking because, just the aromas and the recipes, it has history and it reminds me of my dad. And cooking with my grandmother or my mom just resonates with me. And, those memories, with anybody, cooking is always like something it hits something in your brain with memory. And it's the most valuable thing from what people say. And I believe that. And just that with music was always there, like Sunday cleaning the house or my mom cooking or my grandmother cooking and just having the music up. And with that in music, like when you're producing or you're just mixing songs together, I have sort of a system to it. And, as to cooking, you have recipes and you could lock into a recipe, but little tweaks and sort of thinking like that when I'm DJing or producing kind of is the blend for me. And also just like knowing all these different bartenders, chefs. I just want to combine the whole community together because, there's a lot of food events and music events and they combine together, but to have that fine aspect to make it memorable for everybody, not just like hamburgers or hot dogs, just like something really nice and unique as well as the music. And I want to bring that together. I'm always nervous for everything, even if it's a gig that I've done a million times. It's just those jitters. My wife knows it really well. Every year I always have certain goals, certain places I want to play at, certain things I want to do, certain people I want to meet, or whatever it is. And I try to knock those off the list every year. And next year is probably one of my biggest ones because it's going to be my first music release in general. And I'm doing it with one of my brothers in music, Jeremy Giros. He's an Uptown DJ. He's been producing for a long time. And it's really nice because he's from Uptown. And I've been immersing myself in that sort of side of the town. It's like talking to them up there and talking to people back in Brooklyn, Queens. It's like we live in two different worlds, yet we live in the same state or even city, and like they tell me things and I'm like, I never heard of this or heard of that. And we really blend, we really play well together. The synergy is amazing when we're on the floor, the dance or in the booth and with the dance floor or even just, just at home or just kicking it anywhere. We've been in the studio cooking up stuff for something that we've been thinking about doing a tour around the U.S. as well as Montreal. He has his connections in U.S. I have my connections for Montreal. So we're going to do a little kind of back-to-back or whatever. We're still figuring out our back-to-back name or whatever it is. We just go by Jeremy Giros back-to-back Bendito. And we're going to release some music together and then do a tour with that whole thing. Hopefully, so we're going to do Chicago, San Francisco, San Diego, LA, hopefully Miami, Montreal, and then finishing in New York. And yeah.
AE1 short.
ATSometime Somewhere is produced by Audio-Technica for AT1 Radio. It is recorded at AT1 Studio at Technica House, New York. Follow AT1 Radio and Audio-Technica USA on all social media platforms. Thanks for listening.